said Betty.
Hi, this is Dr. Fab Mancini, and thank you so much for joining us. I want you to know that during this time, you're not alone. I've been bringing to you some of my mentors, some of the most influential people in the world that have impacted my lives and the lives of millions of people. And today I have my dear friend, Janet Attwood. Janet, it's so great to see you again. You look amazing, and I know you have been very busy lately.
Yeah, I have, but that's my middle name. Busy. Actually, passionate is my middle name. I just love life. And Fab, I can't wait to get out of bed in the morning. Seriously, you know what time I got out of bed today? 4:00. I mean, it's like almost torture that you have to sleep. The body has to have rest because I love living. I love, and every moment is something, and it doesn't mean it's not without moments of going, I call it going lateral, right? Going lateral just means like, it's too much, right? And I go lateral sometimes and just let myself feel what's going on during this COVID virus. I came from Thailand. I was in Thailand. I was in the middle of one of my one of my high-end programs, and I get the hit. I'm very, very intuitive, and I get this hit. It's time to go. If you don't go now, you're not going to get a plane out. And so I just said to all my students, I feel, my intuition is, it's time for us to leave. We could take it up, take it back up online. And everyone agreed with me. We all said, yeah. And so I flew from Thailand, came to the United States, hadn't been here for 5 years, but I felt like, well, actually, it was kind of like, it wasn't like I felt like I wanted to go to Germany where my best friends are, and that was locked. I wanted to go to Denmark where my other best friends are, locked. I wanted to go to San Francisco where Marcy Shimoff is, locked. My sister, locked. And so it was more kind of like, I'm not the general manager of the universe, and the general manager of the universe had different plans. So I ended up in, as you know, your very favorite vacation spot, Fairfield, Iowa. And I laugh about that, but I was telling Fab that this is the home of many people, thousands of people that come here, have lived here for many years and do deep meditation. And I've been practicing transcendental meditation. It's a big Mecca community of people that really want to know who they are, go deep inside. And so I had lived here in the past for 27 years. This was really the place. If I have a home, this was it. But man, I came here and I left so fast out of Thailand that I'm at the airport and I call my ex-husband, who is my best friend, thanks to the processes that we use. And I said, Chris, you got to get me a hotel. You got to get me somewhere to stay in Iowa. I don't have time. And so he gets me this place, and kaboom, there I am, all by myself, out in the country. Really cool place, but out in the country, the cornfields, the soybeans, and me, along with some deer and cow. And all of a sudden I realized, when I started thinking about it, oh my God, everything's getting shut down. That means all my programs, I do live programs, are not going to happen. And sure enough, China canceled, Japan canceled, Thailand had canceled, everywhere had canceled. And I watched my whole career go like a domino effect. And I'm like, whoa. And so I did go lateral that day. It was a big jet lag, so rough as it is. And then to watch your whole year calendar, just kind of collapse. And so I always tell people, right? Pain is just a feeling asking to be felt. And if you bypass the pain points, if you try to oh, I'm so positive, I believe in everything is good, everything's going to happen, but inside you're cracking and you're not allowing yourself to feel that emotion, then you're walking around all the time not being vulnerable, authentic, and transparent, which is what I really care about. And not able to, because you're pretending yourself beyond your evolution, which really doesn't work. So therefore you're miserable all the time because you don't know why. But what it is because you haven't let the pain that's in your body have its moment. And when you do, so I went lateral. I was and 10 minutes later, all right, now what do we want to do about this? What do we want to do? You have been training Janet for this time for over 40 years. This time was made for you. So this just means that it's a reframe, right? And that's what I love. I love reframing, which means that a lot of us, when COVID virus happened, we, like, oh my God, listen to my terrible story. And instead of, okay, yeah, it's not comfortable. It wasn't. It was not comfortable for me. It was an intense amount of money that just went boom. And yet, I really do come from the idea that God is good, God is everything, and there are no mistakes in the universe. There are no mistakes in the universe. Everything's happening for me, not to me. So I had to just go, okay, your turn to be the teacher living the teaching, which is what I always say to everyone, right? If I aspire to be anything, it is the one who really is being that which is coming out of my mouth and really being that to the tips of my toes. So I thought, okay, so what's going to be your reframe? Why do you think this happened? Fab, this is so hysterical. I was traveling for the last 5 years all over Asia, doing all these big programs, China, Japan, Thailand, and Europe, and never even came back to the United States for 5 years until now. And I started saying, yes, last year I was on 24 planes. And I said, I really want to travel less. I really want to travel less. The general manager of the universe said, really? Okay, let's sprinkle our fairy dust on her. She's going to get to travel less. So I had to see, how is this working for me, not against me? And I thought, are you kidding me? I don't even know what it's like not to be jet lagged. What is it really like to be supremely rested and really get to take some time and look and see, where have I come and where do I want to go? And this is a really great opportunity, I see. And I'm not saying it's not without ouchie moments, because this has been big ouchies for me. But if I focus on the pain, right, and if I focus on all the things that aren't working, I'm going to miss all the things that are. Because the universe is always there for us, not against us. So I constantly was looking for, okay, where's the gift? Where is the gift? Where is the gift? Because you can either put your attention on the gift, which is always there, or you can put your attention on, oh my God, I lost all my time. And then guess what? Reticular activation system, which is called RAS, which says that whatever you're thinking about, the mind is going to sift through all of it and draw to you the people, places, or things to prove you're right. Because we are co-creating our reality. And so I thought, oh man, I know way too much. No, we're not going to go there. We're going to think about what we choose to create and keep our attention focused, boom, like a samurai. So I took my passion test, because a passion test, it's a nut for all you listening, passion test, that's called seeding. I'm telling you about my program. Seeding means that you seed it so people will go, what's a passion test? It's the number one, I'll tell you, it's the number one tool being used all over the world to help you get clear on the things that matter most to you. So it was my turn to take. I tell everybody, take it every 4 to 6 months. Get clear, one exercise after the other. Because when you get really super clear, that's when you can manifest, and only when you get super clear on what you choose to create. So you want to get this level of clarity that when you close your eyes, you can actually see the world you choose to create. And so I got really, what would I love to do now? And then I started writing it down, and it's like, yeah. And that was why this happened for me. So I got to do another chapter, and those are the best books, right? The very best books. So this is where I is. Long story to how did Janet get into Fairfield, Iowa, your very favorite vacation spot.
It sounds like a great commercial, but you said so many wonderful things, Janet, like you always do. And, I really believe that this, I call it a universal timeout. I think that humanity needed a little bit of a timeout in order to rethink, maybe repurpose, perhaps, change what was not working for it. I mean, we have not been the best caretakers of our nature, as you know. Our planet is having more and more challenges every year because of the toxic and many of the other challenges that we're having on the planet. But also relationships at an all-time high, divorces, breakups. We really needed, people, one study that I read, it was like over 70% of the people do not like where they work. That means that people are working just to make a dollar rather than truly living their passion. So I want to go there for a minute because you gave me one of the greatest gifts, and I don't know if I've ever shared this with you before. One of the greatest gifts that I've received in my life was when you sat down with me, and I forget where we were, but I think it was Mexico. And you sat down with me and you did the passion test with me. And as you know, the passion test has been one of the most revolutionary, life-changing, transformational books that you have ever written. You've been teaching that work for years with Chris. But why don't we share a little bit about the concept of the passion test?
Wait. No, you left out the best part, Fabrizio. You left out what happened. See, you got to let us into your life. And how you let us into your life is not by, I took the passion test, because that leaves us all like, yeah, and we're hanging. Okay. And
that's like the trailer. The trailer.
Yeah, that's right.
The end of the movie.
What did you get? And for all of you listening, the passion test, again, one exercise after the other, after the other, after the other, to help you really get clear so that you can start to choose in favor of the things that matter most to you. And when you do that, think about it. The secret to living a passionate life. Whenever you're faced with a choice, a decision, or an opportunity, choose in favor of your passion. But first, you got to know what the heck are you passionate about in order to choose. And now see why Fabrizio said that there are at least 80%, I think did you say 70 or 80% of
over 70% of the people
are living, and I think it's a little higher, are waking up every morning going, I hate my life, I hate my job, I don't want to get out of bed, this sucks. And why? Because they're choosing in favor of things that have no meaning and purpose. And our job, and it's not even personal, it's actually our job, is to figure out, and I feel like Mother Nature went, okay, kids, kaboom, go to your room. And why? One of the reasons was for all of us to start to take a look at our lives and say, what am I doing here? What am I doing? What is my purpose? But not just that. Living your passion is not just about you just like driving your red Ferrari or running your charity. No. What it really is about, it's about downloading what the general manager of the universe wants you to do. It's your marching orders, because each of us are part and parcel of what is called the unified field. And when you start to say yes to the things that matter most, what you find is that your passions are like breadcrumbs. They're not your purpose. They're your breadcrumbs that lead you onto the path of your destiny. That's your purpose in life. And when you arrive at the door of your destiny, what happens is that you are so lit. You are so full. And when you are full, from fullness comes fullness, and fullness remains, this great saying by the ancient Vedic literature. Then when you're so full, then you overflow. And when you overflow, all that you can do, the byproduct of overflowing is give. And that is the road to happy. And that is our purpose for living a passionate life. That is our purpose. And that is really our purpose. What is my role? So it's about your integrity. It's not about, oh God, I'm going to figure out my passion. I'm going to have such a great. No, it's about being in your integrity and figuring out what is your give back? What is your give back for the privilege of having a human body? And there's this great quote from my master's master, that Guru Dev, Swami, anyway, it's too long. So anyway, Guru Dev said, one part of his quote was, to get a human body is a rare thing. And if we don't make full use of it, then we have sold a diamond at the price of spinach. A diamond at the price of spinach. Now remember this, before I let Fab finally have a moment, was that the universe doesn't play tricks. It's not a mistake that you love what you love. So your job is to use the very first line in the passion test. When my life is ideal, I am. And then be like a child, have an open mind. You know, a child doesn't go, oh God, censor, I can't do that. I'm too old, I'm too ugly, I'm too this, I'm too that. No, a child has wonderment and they go, oh yeah, right? That's the attitude that you do this. And you think of the different areas of your life. This is what I had Fab do. Your health, your career, your relationships, your spirituality, fun. What else? I don't know. Your environment, where are you living? You know, all these different areas of your life. And you think, what would the best of the best be? What would the best of the best be? When my life is ideal, I am. Write it down if you're listening. And then think of these different areas that are really important in your life. And then start to get clear, because when you are clear, what you choose to have show up in your life will, but only to the extent that you're clear. And that's what we're going to hear Fab tell us. He's going to say, I took the passion test, I got so clear, and you're not going to believe it. Kaboom! So go ahead, your turn.
You are so sweet. Well, the main thing for me at that time in my life is that, as you know, I'm a chiropractor, and I have achieved tremendous contributions. I've contributed at high levels in the health of humanity. That's been primarily my world. But as I was doing the passion test with you, I started recognizing that it wasn't just about the health of humanity, but it was about humanity. So the breadcrumbs are so critical, because unless you understand the passions in your life, it's very difficult to do your life purpose. You know, and we've been teaching how essential it is that people spend money and even hire companies to create a mission statement for the company, but they will never spend 10 minutes creating a life purpose statement, which is the foundation for whatever business you decide. So yeah, they get a business, they create a mission statement for their business, and then they're miserable, no matter how much money they make, no matter how much success they have, because they forget that your business is really an extension of yourself. And a true passionate person recognizes that their passion is what drives their business. So during that session, I don't know if you remember, I was really getting the clarity from above that it was guiding me that I needed to expand my message around the world. And because of that, it allowed me to write books and lecture outside of the industry of chiropractic, then started getting into television and started impacting millions of people. And it's been a beautiful thing, because as you know, the more responsibility that we have, the more that we work on ourselves to be able to share what it is that we're learning. You know, I've always found that in myself, what allows me, I often tell people that I'm just an ordinary person willing to do extraordinary things. You know, when I recognized that I was able to break through in something that in my life I've been told that I would never be able to do, that I don't know too many people that have been able to accomplish that, I recognized that if I could do it, why, then now I have a responsibility to share that information with others so they can break through themselves. And that's been...
oh, perfect. That's to tell me I have to turn off my tofu. Go ahead, keep talking.
Well, that is what one of the things that really came through for me, because it made me recognize that my true life purpose, even though it's evolving, as you know, is really dependent on the passions in my life. But those exercises that you created, it's like taking somebody by the hand and really giving them the proper questions and the proper exercises for them to recognize those passions in themselves. Therefore, being able to move forward.
The passion test, what I was going to add to that, because that is so cool. And, you know, I do remember that now, because I said, hey, Fab, you're like a babe material, man. You are like the full package. I mean, you are the full package. What are you doing playing small? I'm sure I got in your face about it, because you really, I mean, really, look at you. You know, you're like just not ugly, and you're brilliant on top of that. And you're a doctor of chiropractic, and you're a great speaker, and the universe, it was just trying to hit on you to say, hey, yo, wake up. You know, and what was so great about what you did was you listened, because what the only thing that gets in the way of anyone living a passionate life are three things: false ideas, false concepts, thinking, who do I think I am? I'm not good enough, smart enough, rich enough, beautiful enough, thin enough, everything enough. I haven't had the greatest facelift in the world, whatever, right? And with those thoughts, it's like, that's like a brick wall. You can get clear on your passions, but if you have all these limiting beliefs, then you're going to be like stopping yourself right in the middle of it, and you won't be able to move through that. And, that brings me to the next thing that I wanted to share today, because what I found, now I've birthed along with Chris Attwood, we have taught over 4,000 we have 4,000 passion test trainers around the world. But I realized 2 years ago, I was thinking about why aren't more of them training? And I thought, they're not training because they don't love who they are. They don't have the courage. They don't have that ability to go, this is what I care about. This is what I stand for. They can't say no. The thought of going out in the big scary world and having someone look at them sideways because they're so attached to what other people think about themselves because they don't know who they are has stopped them cold in their tracks. And I thought, you know what they need? My little kids need mastery of self-love. They need to understand who they are. They have to have the very first, even before knowing what you're passionate about, you have to know who you are. Now, what was great about you was you did. Like, you were already there. I mean, you're just like this lit light bulb. I mean, look at you. Like, what can you not love about you? I'm sure they're just eating you up on TV, all over the world, because you just are, it's an inside out job. And when you really start to be congruent, it shows up just like it's showing on you. And it is so beautiful. Let me tell you, it's so beautiful. You're like a magnet. You're like a moth to the flame, truly.
So, Janet, I'm going to ask you a question, because I know probably the listeners are right now gaining all of this awareness.
Okay.
But let's say that right now there's somebody listening to us, watching this right now, and saying, yeah, that's easy for you to say. Look at you. You've done this, you've done that, and that's the challenge. It's like a lot of people feel like we're born, successful. We're born already having New York Times bestselling books and having the ability to train thousands of people, if not more than that. But what are some of the very basic steps that somebody can take to begin to change that inner dialogue? Because you have been teaching that for so long. You have worked on it for yourself. I mean, what I love about your work is that you are the product of your work. And every day, like even I shared with you earlier, that you always, I love whenever we get together and talk, because you inspire me to even be a better student than I'm being, because you're so full of life. You're living life to the fullest, and you don't waste any opportunity to learn something about you and to contribute that something to the world in a positive way. But what are some of the basic, simple steps that somebody can take if they don't feel that they're good enough, they're worthy enough, especially during this downtime where maybe they're unemployed, maybe they are in a position right now that their finances are, they're in hardship. Maybe they just had a major breakup in their lives because of the tensions that are being created during this pandemic. What are some of the basic, simple steps that one can take?
So I want to answer that, but I want to also frame it.
Yeah.
Because what you said was very profound. I didn't come out of my mother's womb as a New York Times bestselling author, but I did come out of my mother's womb one of the happiest babies on the planet. And my mother and I had one of those relationships, Fab, that was so filled with love that my brother and my sister and my father were actually jealous of us, because we just had it. We were just magnetized to each other. We knew each other. We were in the zone with each other, even at the the very young age of 3, 4, 5. I mean, really, she used to write letters to the principal and say, Janet can't come to school today. And what she really meant was, Janet and I are going to sing, and we're going to plant flowers, and we're going to eat in bed, fishes in the dishes, which is sardines and crackers. Lovely. And, we were just going to do all these things. And then when I was about 7 years old, my brother, my sister, and I were home. My mom had become a hairdresser. And all of a sudden we hear this screech, bam! And it was my mother And she opens a door, and she was not my mother. She was out of her body drunk. And from that moment on until the last 7 years of her life, my mom was, I thought at 7 years old, I thought, oh my God, I did that. I can't save her. I couldn't save her. I tried so hard. What can I do to help her? But nothing worked. And so I developed, that was my first crack. That's an important thing for all of us to know. Where was the first crack? Because that crack, unless you heal it, defines you the rest of your life. It really does, through all your choices, through all the different things. And so that defined me, and I had way low self-esteem. And I used to do weird stuff after that because my whole family just exploded and imploded. And I remember that I would do weird stuff, like go out in the middle of the street, you know, and I can't even say what I did. It's just like, I was just too weird. I was the weird kid on the block. And then when I was about 17 years old, I started getting into drugs, of course, right? Because I didn't know who I was. And my brother's best friends came over, and I had a big crush on them. And they said, hey, Janet, you want to take this pill? And when I woke up, I was a very different Janet. And I have no idea what happened to me. And then the next thing I know, because of that, it really cracked me. And I ended up being a drug addict. And not only that, I was a major LSD person, major, and other drugs, cocaine, and you name it. And then I started riding with the Oakland Hells Angels, this big biker gang. Seriously, I did. I was living with the president of the Oakland Hells Angels. And one day it was like the universe woke me up, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be just like my mom. And that was when that shift happened, where I went, okay, I'm choosing for life. And so I wanted to share that story with everyone, and that was fast tracking it. But I wanted to share that story because I want you to know that you can't do anything about what's happened to you, but you can do something about what's going on right now. And that is the choice. That is the choice, right? What is, what happened, happened. Not saying right, not saying wrong. But if you let that define you, there you're gonna get your pity party. You're gonna get people, when you tell your story, to feel sorry for you. But that is all you're gonna get. So here's the practice for all of you. One thing that you could do is, and this is called standing in the fire of your own discomfort. Standing in the fire of your own discomfort is to take a story that you have about why you're not able to live your life the way we are, and write it down. I'm not able to live the life I wish because my father sexually abused me, or, I was bullied all through school, or I was the stupid kid in the classroom, whatever it was, write it down. And now your job. See, God is good, God is everything. And I said this in the very beginning, and there are no mistakes in the universe. So your job is to figure out, why did that happen to you? Otherwise, we have a weird, mean God. And I don't see it that way. But every moment happens for you, not to you. And when you start to really understand that, then you can take these really intense moments of your life and see, okay, now how is this working for me? So I'll give you an example. When I took that pill, right? And I was sexually abused, I was raped. How is that working for me now? Now I could hold that story and let it screw up every relationship I have with everybody and be very angry. Or I can look, how does it work for me? Are you kidding me? If you've had any sexual anything, call me. I am the queen of coaching for that. I am magnificent. I can take you through those limiting beliefs in a matter of 2 minutes, and I can transform your world. And I can show you how it's happening for you, not to you. And that's how it was and that's how it's happening for me, not to me. I am of greater service to humanity because of that one moment, Now this is not about right or wrong, good or bad. No, it's about taking the moments that have happened to you and reframing them where you are right now, and seeing and really asking yourself, how is this working for me? And my mentor, one of my mentors, is this woman named Byron Katie, who does this great process called the work to undo these limiting beliefs that block you. And one of the things she says is, when I'm clear, what is what I want. When I'm clear, what is what I want. So without all of your, without all of our drama and the story that we built on why I can't live my life the way I want to, when you're clear, notice, and you're really honest. And remember, I said, standing in the fire of your own discomfort, having to reframe something that you had a big story around, you will be able to see how it's working for you and want to be empowered. The minute you start to see how it's working for you, it's as if you took, see, your limiting beliefs are like clouds that block the sun. Our nature is love. Our nature, we came into this world, all of us, love. And what happened? Life happened. And so we had these moments. And so what did we do? We started to protect ourselves. So these veils came down, protected our health, protecting my heart. Understandably so. It was painful. But what happened? What was the outcome? How come I can't feel? Why don't I love others? Well, you can only love others to the extent that you love yourself. So your job, and this is your job, kaboom, is to really start to realize that everything's there for you, not happening to you. And to really sit with that and get really honest and get really clear. How's it working? How's it working for you? And find the littlest thing, and then the littlest thing, and then the littlest thing. And you see, because as you treat everyone. So if you're not kind to you, and what happens when you have a lot of these veils is, I'm a loser. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not blah, 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 blah. And then guess what? You project that onto others. You project it all onto others. There's this beautiful saying, I meet no one but me. So the great thing about self-love, it's just self-acceptance. Acceptance of what? Acceptance of all of it. All. How do you know it was supposed to happen to you? It did. There's your fast self-love course, Fab.
It's so funny because I was just remembering when we did the passion test, one of the things that I remember clearly now, it came to me, was we were talking about my accent. And I said, I've been in this country all these years and this accent won't go away. And you're like, celebrate it. You got to celebrate your imperfections. You got to celebrate everything about you. And now my accent has become actually one of the things that most people love about having me as a guest on television or radio or whatever, because people remember me. It's something unique, right? It's not like everyone else out there.
Honey, you remind me of Desi in Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball show. I mean, who can't love you?
Babalu, Babalu.
And it wasn't a mistake. And it was, you use the word accent or some weird word. No, remember, God is good. God is everything. There are no mistakes in the universe. How do you know you're supposed to have that accent? You do. End of story. End of story. And that's where we all have to go. Like, okay, this is me. This is me. It doesn't get any better than right now, right here, right now. And for all of us, this is our job. And this is our job to start to see that you were given this body, you were given this personality, you were given all of these experiences so that it would make you. And without your limiting beliefs around what shouldn't have happened or what's wrong with you, you start to see what's right with you, and that's your empowerment. And then when you get empowered, you're able to give your gifts to others. So that's
where the clarity comes from. But right. I want to talk to you a little bit about, during this downtime, you have been working very hard in creating the passion plan, and one of the things that I wanted to learn about, because I can't wait to really experience it. I mean, if it's anything like the passion test, it's got to be amazing. But tell me a little bit about what was coming through your mind. What did you feel that you can create and share with others that will allow them to even go a step beyond, even if they've done the passion test, which for those of you that are listening, I'm going to put here the link so you can go ahead and do it. And and get it, and also the plan. But tell me a little bit about what was it about this plan that you felt compelled to create during this downtime and share it with the world?
Because I really absolutely think that the reason why we're having this downtime is so we can take a big look at our life through this wide angle lens and start to look and see, yes, that's working. No, that's not working. Yes, that is. How can I upgrade and upgrade? And so your passion plan, actually, Chris Attwood and I filmed it years ago, years and years ago. And what it is, it's all of these, it's 14 videos that I just reshot because it's now, and 14 videos that are, you can put on your jammies, you can kick up your feet, and you can get clear on what are the steps to living a passionate life so you can redo you. And I just had this massive impulse to really introduce it into the world again, because it's so powerful. And it goes deep. It goes deep because it's looking at all, like scoring your passions and looking at your markers, which are guideposts or signposts, and showing you how do you know when you're actually there? What is the evidence? And writing your 100th birthday speech, as if you're watching your 100th birthday show up in all of the great things that you've ever done. And again, the whole purpose is that deep clarity. And even if you've taken the passion test one time, that isn't enough. I tell people, take it every 4 to 5 months. Every 4 to 5 months, you're ready to renew yourself, honestly. And what I find is that my top 5, we have you come up with your top 5 passions. And what I find is my first 1 and 2 don't really change that much. My number 1 is loving every moment, right? And my number 2 is vibrant, perfect health. Those are like kind of the 2, but the other ones kind of shift a little. And so in order to get really clear and take massive action and really want to do that, you have to be passionate. So you have to keep it on with your passion plan, and you want to really do it when was the last time you did it? Every 5 to 6 months.
Yeah, long time. And you just reminded me of that 100th birthday speech. I remember writing that, and it was life-changing because it made me realize, how sometimes we have that exercise that says, what would you say to a future version of yourself? Or what would you say to, if you were 50 years later, what would you say to a younger version of yourself? But when you do the 100-year birthday speech, the way you shared it with us is a very personal moment, because you get to really recognize and celebrate what is it that you would like to be saying. You get to create it. And as Stephen Covey used to say, begin with the end in mind. And even though science has determined that we can live up to 150 years old, as you know, most people don't even make it past 80 or 90 years old. And it's unfortunate, because really life was meant to be lived full. Life was meant to be lived long. Life was meant to be lived healthy. And you're proving that, and because of your work.
I'm over 100 years old.
Well, it's so interesting because I recently interviewed a dear friend of mine, Elaine Lalaine, Jack's wife, and she's 94. And I'm telling you, she has more energy than any 17-year-old that I've ever talked to. And it's because of that passion. So in the plan, so we're going to get videos, right, that are going to
it's all videos, and you get to make your passion pages, which is you take each one of your top 5 passions.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah,
would it allow me also to do the passion test in the program?
Yeah. I'm taking this Japanese girl, Ari, through it. Yeah. And everybody can see how to do it. So you see, perfect. So the passion test starts with you writing out maybe 10, 15 passions.
Okay.
And then we'll take you through another video where we have you go through this elimination process to have you come up with your top 5 passions, because science found that the mind can only contain 5 to 7 pieces of information. So you get really clear, and then we have you score your passions so you can figure out, well, where am I right now? And coaches, listen to this. If you don't know how to do the passion test, you are so you're so missing it. You've got to get the passion plan because, and this is called shameless self-promotion. I like to open up the curtain. Okay, because I truly believe in this. Coaches, what happens when someone's taking the passion test, you see not only what their top 5 passions, but then when you go to score their passions, you get to see where are the low scores. And immediately you know how to coach them because you can see what areas of their life need an upgrade. And that is the best tool I've ever seen for a coach, honestly. So then we help you come up with markers, which are guideposts, signposts, evidence that you're living your passions full out. And then passion pages and 100th birthday speeches, so much. We tell you the formula to living a passionate life and what is the secret to living a passionate life. So you have it all so that you feel locked in, locked. Because when you really are clear on what you choose to create, then the people, the places, the things start to show up, but only to the extent that you're clear. And honestly, if you're listening to this interview right now, you think you turned on your video. No, nature, your soul called you to this moment because it's probably time for you to sit down and ask yourself, when my life is ideal, I am. Because why? Because your job is to know what you're here to do and give those gifts to humanity. And you don't have to be a COVID virus expert. Turn off the news, turn off the TV, and start getting clear right now on the things that matter most to you, because that is your service. That is your give back to the rest of the world. And you can raise yourself. You can raise your energy above all of this fear consciousness right now. How do you do it? One of the things you do is you start to get clear. You start to get clear. The other thing that I want to leave everybody with, is that okay, Fab? Can I give a little? I have another program that's just like my passion. It's called Mastery of Self-Love. I told you about that.
I love it.
And one of the practices, and Fab, I'm going to have you do this. Okay, I'm going to have you do this.
Okay.
All right. Now we think that we're talking to someone. You think you're talking to me, and I think I'm talking to you, and right? But I want to show you something. Okay. How I meet no one but me. So Fab, and everybody else, if you have a piece of paper and a pen, get it out. So Fab, do you have a pen and a paper?
Not in front of me.
Okay, well I do.
Okay.
Here, I will. All right, so here we go. I'll write it down. I want you to think of someone you love, like that's really close to you, that you so love. And I want you to think of 5 traits, and everyone else, think of someone you love and 5 traits you love about them. Go ahead. What's like beautiful, loving, kind, blah, blah, blah.
Loving.
Okay.
Patient.
Ooh.
Kind. Beautiful. And giving.
Okay, now is when you're going to have to be really brave, okay? To everything, there's a flip side, right?
Yeah.
All right, so when that person is not kind, beautiful, loving, patient, la la la, ooh, right?
Yeah.
Would we love that person? Love brings up anything unlike itself to be healed.
Yeah.
So when you're in love with someone, I'm thinking this might be your love. Am I right? Is this someone close to you in your life? Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, when that person is not doing what you wish they would do, and they're doing that thing that gets in your face, give me 5 words that describe how you feel, or that describe them, like
the
irritating.
The behavior, judgmental, insecure, limited, confused, and frustrated.
Frustrated. Okay, now Fab, how important is it to you to be authentic, transparent, and vulnerable?
Very important.
All right, well, here you go then. And you don't mind showing up with everybody, right?
No.
Okay, so Fab, instead of saying she is loving, I want you to say Fab is, and then that word.
Okay.
Fab
is loving. Fab is.
Yep. Is it true? Is it true? Are you loving?
Yes.
Okay. The next word was patient. Go ahead.
Fab is patient.
Can you find it?
Yes.
Kind.
Fab is kind. Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Come
Yes.
on.
Fab is beautiful.
And giving.
Fab is giving.
Okay. Now, here we go on the flip side of it, Fab. Ready? Fab is judgmental.
Yes. Fab is
Sometimes.
judgmental.
Can you find it?
Yes.
Fab is insecure. Sometimes.
Fab is insecure. Yes.
Can you find it?
Yes.
By the way, there's never been one that anybody else has written that I couldn't find. So just know I'm in your club. Okay. Seriously, I'm all of it. Okay. Limited.
Fab is limited. Yes.
Confused.
Fab is confused. Yes.
And frustrated.
Fab is frustrated. Yes.
So guess who is your very best mirror, Fab?
Me.
No, your other.
Oh.
Other. Yeah, because guess why?
Yeah.
See, here's what's so beautiful. When you start to understand that the creator is so efficient that he created the other to reflect back to us where we are at any given moment with ourself. That's why the practice of self-love is self-acceptance and truly allowing yourself to be okay with where you previously were not okay. Got it? And
Yeah.
so your job, when you start to not like those things that she's doing, it's a she, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When she's starting to do those things, now see if you can step back for a minute and go, oh God, that's where I'm not loving myself. That's where I'm not being kind to me. Right? Yeah, because think about it. We love, and I bet you your physiology, I could read it in your physiology that when you got to the other things, it was kind of like your insides went, eek, right? But, on the loving, patient, kind, beautiful, oh, yes, that's good. And this isn't.
Yeah.
But that's not true. It's working for you until you decide it's not, right? Let me ask you something. Has it helped you in your life to be judgmental about certain things?
Of course.
There you go. But do you have a negative or a positive about you being judgmental? Truth.
When I think of it as judgmental, it's typically towards the negative or not the
Thank
positive.
you. That's the point. Has it worked for you to be insecure in your life?
Of course. It helps me figure out how am I going to get secure. So it pushes me beyond my comfort zone.
All of this did, right? Confused, frustrated, everything. So I love this Rumi quote. Out beyond right doing and wrong doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond right doing and wrong doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. And our job truly is to embrace all of who we're being. And so Fab, if a little kid made a mistake, but I don't believe there are mistakes. I believe everything happens because it's supposed to. But if a little kid did, you wouldn't go throw it against the wall. But what do you do when you feel like, oh my God, oh my God, I'm being so judgmental. Oh my God, wham, wham, wham. So our job for all of us, we can start Self-Love 101. I wish you could read it in a book, and I wish it was enough for one little practice. You can come to me, Mastery of Self-Love. But our job is to right now start to be kind to ourselves. Because how do we know we're supposed to be the way we are until we're not? We are. Dogs bark, cats meow, the wind blows, and Fab, you are loving, patient, kind, beautiful, giving, sometimes judgmental, insecure, limited, confused, and frustrated, and it's all working for you. It's just, how do you want to see it?
That's beautiful. Well, I just want to say thank you for taking this time with us. Thank you for always inspiring us and more importantly, allowing us to really take an honest look of ourselves. I've often found that the work you've always done is a work that actually allows a person to see within you, the strength that they have within themselves, even if they can't see it at the time. And I believe that I use the word authentic, because to me, authenticity really comes from clarity. And everything that you've always stood for is about helping individuals like me become more clear about who we are, who we want to be, and more importantly, begin to embrace that and celebrate that without any second thoughts, without any hesitation, without any uncertainty, which is what those clouds that you were talking about, it keeps us from really showing up. So for those of you that are listening, I hope that you enjoy this. I hope that you will share this with everyone of your friends, your family, etc. Because right now there may be somebody out there really hoping and praying for some value, some one thing that somebody may say that can make all the changes in the world. Well, in this interview, as you know, you've got a tremendous amount of many things that people can find valuable. So please share it with your friends, and most importantly, recognize that you're not alone in this process. I'm going to put, with your permission, Janet, I'm going to put the links to your programs, because I want everyone right now to please just go here and get it. I can tell you it'll be the best investment you will make on yourself. And what a better time. What a better time that we have this on Universal Pause, this time out, in order to really work on us. And the main thing that I recognize, Janet, and you taught me this, is that no one can change you but you. So you have to do the work. It's like Jack LaLanne used to say, people want to pay me to do their push-ups for them, but that's not going to help them.
I wish you would be mine.
Yeah, you have to do the work. And the nice thing is about these programs allow you to do the work in a very practical way, fun way, and more importantly, in a way that works. Because like you heard Janet say, thousands of people have benefited from this, including me. And I can tell you it's life-changing. So Janet, God bless you. Thank you so much for your time. And I can't wait to see you face to face.
And Fab, one thing, when you're laying in bed tonight,
yeah,
I want you to think about what you said to me, because remember, the world is as you are. I meet no one but me. So everything that you love in me, guess what?
I love it myself too.
That's it.
You love me too.
But any other way, that's it. All right.
Thank you so much. God bless. Bye-bye.